Suddenly the press was sensing blood, and United's third-round FA Cup tie with Nottingham Forest suddenly became central to the argument.
January 1990. Rain. A hotel room. A man staring at nothing. His name was Alex Ferguson. Tomorrow could end him, or ignite a dynasty that would change football forever. You think greatness is born in glory? This story begins with failure. Govan, Glasgow. Steel and sweat. Shipyards thundered along the Clyde. Men like Ferguson's father welded hulls under gray skies, hands scarred, spirits unbowed. Young Alex grew up here. No privilege, no shortcuts. Just one lesson burned into his bones. You fight for everything. On the pitch, he was electric, a striker with hunger in his veins. 31 goals in one season at Dunfermline. But the major trophies never came. By his early 30s, his playing career ended not with glory, but quiet disappointment. Most men would have faded here. Ferguson saw a different path 1978. Aberdeen Football Club, a coastal team with no business challenging Scottish football's untouchable giants, Rangers and Celtic, who'd ruled for generations. Ferguson didn't see giants. He saw targets, training ground, dawn. His voice, the only sound that mattered. He gutted the squad, demanded military discipline. Players arrived late, fined, underperformed, benched. Some hated him, all feared disappointing him. In 1980, Aberdeen shattered the old firm's stranglehold. Scottish champion, but Ferguson wasn't finished. May 1983, Gothenburg, European Cup Winners' Cup final. Aberdeen versus Real Madrid. Football royalty, multiple European champions. Extra time, 2-1. A Scottish underdog against continental giants. That night, Ferguson didn't just win a trophy. He announced himself to the world. 1986. Manchester United came calling. The Theatre of Dreams. Old Trafford. The most storied stadium in England. The biggest club in the country. Ferguson thought he'd reached the summit. He'd walked into a graveyard. United hadn't won the league since 1967. 19 years of anguish. The dressing room was fractured. A drinking culture festered. The board demanded miracles. The fans prayed for a savior. Ferguson delivered struggle. 3 years, no trophies, losses mounted, the press attacked, fans chanted, "Fergie out." Boardroom whispers grew louder. His wife Kathy saw it in his eyes. Sleepless nights, endless pacing, questions that wouldn't stop. By January 1990, his position was hanging by a thread. United faced Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. Not officially a sacking match, but close enough. One more humiliation, and the board's patience would break. That hotel room, cold silence, the weight of potential failure. Is this how it ends? His father's voice surfaced. The shipyards. You don't quit, Alex. Not ever. 90 minutes. United scraped through. 1-0. Mark Robbins headed home the winner. That goal bought Ferguson time. Time to build a dynasty. Something shifted. He stopped managing players. He started forging warriors. He sold stars who wouldn't bleed for the badge. Benched egos bigger than the team. He found his catalyst. Eric Cantona. Volatile. Brilliant. Unyielding. The dam burst. Manchester United. Champions of England. 26 years of yearning. Fathers grown old waiting. Sons who'd never seen their club lift the trophy. Ferguson had delivered. And he was just beginning. They called it Fergie time. Those mysterious added minutes when United refused to die. Late goals, impossible comebacks. It wasn't luck, it was mentality. His teams believed, even when logic screamed otherwise, that surrender wasn't an option. He didn't demand perfection, he demanded obsession. His players feared the hairdryer, that blast of fury when standards slipped. But they loved his unwavering faith. He was father and tyrant, general and prophet. Beckham, Keane, Scholes, Giggs, Cantona, the class of '92. Different souls, one fire, all answering to one man. Arsène Wenger arrived at Arsenal. The rivalry became warfare. Ferguson's street fighter mentality against Wenger's intellectual elegance. Wenger's Arsenal claimed titles in '98 and 2002. Each defeat stung, but Ferguson adapted, studied, evolved, fought back harder. By the late '90s, United were a machine, relentless, battle-hardened, unstoppable. But Ferguson wanted immortality, the treble. 3 major trophies in one season: Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League. No English club had ever achieved it. The league fell. The FA Cup followed. One mountain remained. May 26, 1999. Barcelona, Champions League final. Bayern Munich. Slow build, stadium lights, crowd roar fading to silence. This wasn't just a match. This was Ferguson's entire journey compressed into 90 minutes. The shipyards, the jeers of 1990, that hotel room, everything on the line. Bayern scored early. United pressed but couldn't break through. 90 minutes passed. Injury time began. The trophy was slipping away. Ferguson walked to the touchline. His message: keep believing. Corner kick. Beckham delivered. Sheringham equalized. 1-1. Seconds later, another corner. Beckham. Solskjaer stretched and scored. 2 minutes, 17 seconds. Devastation became destiny. The treble was theirs. Ferguson didn't celebrate wildly. He stood still, looking upward, as if seeing every battle he'd ever fought reflected in the stars. That night wasn't fortune. It was the sum of every choice he'd made, every setback he'd refused to accept. He once said, control, discipline, respect. But trust is how you lead. That was his genius. 13 Premier League titles, 2 Champions Leagues, 38 major honors at United, 49 across his career. He didn't just accumulate trophies. He built an empire, a philosophy, a standard that outlived him. When he retired in 2013, football paused. He'd transformed boys into champions, doubt into dominance, failure into legend. Think back, that hotel room. January 1990, rain against the window, a man facing his darkest hour. One more loss might have finished him, but Ferguson made a choice, not to accept defeat, to keep fighting. Mark Robin's goal gave him breathing room, but Ferguson's refusal to surrender created the dynasty. Greatness isn't born in triumph. It's forged when the world demands you quit, and you refuse. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't just rebuild Manchester United, he created a blueprint, turned adversity into ammunition, refused to accept that the story ends here. Not because victory is guaranteed, because surrender is unthinkable. When doubt surrounds you, when failure feels inevitable, what would Ferguson do? He'd stare it down and demand more. Your darkest hour might be one decision away from your greatest triumph. If this moved you, subscribe. We're exploring legends who refuse to quit. Share this with someone who needs it. One story can reignite everything. Stay the course.